Alright, hello and welcome everybody to the stream. Why is my microphone... okay. Hopefully that's not too loud. Hold up. I probably should have checked the audio before I did this, but greetings everybody. Let me know how the audio is. Hopefully it's not too bad. I will switch over. Oh, also, I just realized this isn't the Be Right Back. It's supposed to be on starting soon, so... Whoops. But, yeah, hello, everybody. How are you? I'm doing good. So, yeah, I watched Dragon's Rising Part 2, at least the first 5 episodes last night, so the stream will contain spoilers. So, if you haven't seen it, then don't watch the stream, because I'm going to be talking pretty in-depth about it. And yeah, we're just going to be chilling. I'm going to be playing some Terraria in the background, because why not? And, yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to start this. Dragon's Rising Part 2 so far, I feel like I have a lot more to say on it than Part 1. Yes, I did do reactions to Keep the Peace, but those will not be out for a while, so don't expect reacts to be out soon. But yeah, I did watch it with them. And I will say I did like it a lot. I did like it a lot. And it's also important to note that that it's 5 episodes of the second part of a 2-part season, so it's like 5 out of 20 episodes. So yeah, I did very much enjoy it. There were some things though, a lot of things that people have been talking about on Twitter and stuff. Things that I haven't actually seen a lot of people touch on yet, mostly because a lot of people are trying to have actually done a pretty decent job on Twitter, actually, of not spoiling stuff. But of course, you know, there's been points of discussion. Thought the last gen had a lot of missed potential for Skybound reference. Yeah, so the last gen is something I wanted to talk about, for sure. And again, I'm gonna be going into spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, then I wouldn't recommend watching the stream. Also, let me know if the audio is good. I feel like... let me, I'm actually gonna record for a portion of the stream, and I'm gonna do audio check here in a second. The last gen is something I wanted to talk about as someone who really enjoys Skybound, despite its flaws. I really like Nauticon as a villain. His wish powers never made too much sense, though. And that's something that really bothered me about Skybound, and I think the last gen kind of made it worse. I think they made it more confusing with the way they explained how the wish stuff works. Only metaverse can get away with playing Terraria and talking about Ninjago. Yeah, don't mind my terrible Terraria gameplay. I'm currently playing modded. For anybody who knows Terraria, I'm playing Calamity mod, and I'm playing Infernum, which is supposedly the most difficult version of the mod. So there will probably be a lot of dying. But I'm not going to focus too much on the gameplay. But, yeah, the last gen. So pretty much, I like the character a lot. I'm already forgetting his name, because I'm terrible with remembering names, but I liked the character they introduced. I assumed going in that he would be a villain, just because Nauticon, I guess. But I'm kind of glad he wasn't. I'm glad that he was kind of an ally. But that also makes things more complicated that he's an ally, because the reason that Nauticon wasn't, like, extremely overpowered was because he was a villain, and the ninja couldn't, like, rely on him to, like, give them wishes that he wanted, because he would always, you know, give them the wrong wish. He would always, you know, put a twist on the wishes. But since this new gen is, like, an ally to them, it kind of complicates things, because once he does supposedly get his powers back, Because they did make a point that his powers are weak, so obviously he can't wish for anything, which is already a bit strange since you know he could wish for something as big as the curse to go away. But then in the next episode he was like, okay, but I'm weak, so you know I can't like they can't just be like, oh, I wish to have the dragon core and they get the dragon core. So you know Nia wishes to at least know where it is, which makes sense. It's just, it's already kind of inconsistent, like, how powerful of a wish can he do, you know? So that's already kind of strange. And then you have the whole, like, he couldn't use his wish powers because Jinjago had fallen. Yet Nauticon was able to use his wish powers after Jinjago fell. And of course they got stronger once he built his own Jinjago. But, that was only once he, like, married on Jin Land and whatnot. So it's like... How does the fall of Jinjago work? Did it just slowly fall and crumble to one piece of dust? I don't know. It's strange. The wish things are more confusing than ever before. But, you know, the episode was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I like the character. I like that we got Skybound stuff. I wish Nia had more to say about it. Like, having Nia be the main ninja to interact with a new Jin and have her not even, you know, question it. It's kind of strange. But, yeah, there's a lot of nitpicks I could say on that episode. There's a lot. But overall, I enjoyed it. Part 2, the first 5 episodes of Part 2 have been leaked. So, that's how I was able to see them. Yo, what's up, Saturday Show? Don't worry about missing streams. I haven't been streaming a lot anyway. Oops, the Vulgin thing is on hard subjects for Nia to talk about. Yeah, I feel like Nia should have more restraint when meeting a Jin in person. You would think she would be a little hesitant to, like, you know, just be so open and willing to... It is weird that she doesn't bring up Skybound at all, because if they were going to, now would have been the time. But I also understand it because... It's strange, because the season's meant for new viewers, right? But they bring up past stuff all the time in a way that, like, new viewers wouldn't question too much. Like, with another... I'm gonna keep prefacing spoilers. Even though I'm sure I've already... Most people watching this have probably seen it, and if you haven't, then please go watch it. Or, like, wait until it's actually out officially. And then come back to the... Because the stream will be left up for later viewing. It's strange, like, when Chancellor Gulch comes in, and he's like, oh yeah, me and Zane were best friends, and he like, describes the events of Master of the Mountain. Yet they can't do something like that with Nia. With, like, Skybound. It's like they have this... It's weird. It's strange. I feel like Nia should have more of a reaction to that. Because otherwise, like, her being there kind of felt pointless. I mean, it made sense that she went to, like, the library and, like, learned a bunch of stuff. And that's why she went to the temple place. Because she, you know, she got the artifacts and everything, but... It's also interesting that Cloud Kingdom has, like, rare Jin artifacts. Kind of Jinblade as a conduit and recreated Jinjago. I guess that would make sense. Oh, and also another thing about that is, like, the wish magic relies on, like, hope. And this is the big one for me, because it's that I feel like can't really be explained away as easily. Is, like, if the wish stuff relies on hope, yet Nauticon's whole deal was, like, people wishing, like, he was a villain, so they would wish for things that they wanted, obviously. And sometimes that meant they would wish for things that Nauticon didn't want to happen, but he had to grant the wish anyway. So if it relies on hope and you have to like hope for it to happen, there's no way half of those wishes would have worked with Nauticon if he didn't hope for things to happen. Obviously, there were some wishes that Nauticon hoped for, that he granted. But a lot of them were like, were things that he didn't necessarily want to happen, he wasn't really hoping would occur. So it's like, is that just specific to this new Jin, or, you know, did Nauticon have, like, higher power? So, there's a lot of things that I feel like now need further explanation. I don't know. But okay, a lot of that stuff is kind of just, like, nitpicks. Because you could say that about, like, you could say a lot of that stuff about the Cloud Kingdom episode, too. The Cloud Kingdom fixed a lot of, like, the problems I had with the Cloud Kingdom, but it also made the, like, the initial episode in Skybound not make a lot of sense in retrospect. Because the amount of coincidences that would have to take place for that to make sense. Like, oh yeah, of course Dareth coincidentally, like, got into, like, a car wreck when Jay spilled ink on his destiny. Or, like, the monster coincidentally, like, attacked, what's his name? The master writer after they wrote in his destiny for that to happen. Like, you could say that about that episode too. So it's kind of weird. A lot of the stuff in Dragon's Rising kind of does contradict some of the older stuff, but also fixes a lot of the old lore in some ways. It's a weird thing. Shane should have been like, Slug Race somewhere else. I did find that, I love the Zane Day stuff. I thought that was really funny. I thought that was really amusing. That was a really good episode, because you also had that and like the Kai and Wildfire dynamic, which I continue to really love. They had a lot of good, like, one-off episodes, which I really enjoyed. And I feel like it's going to be similar to part 1, where the first 5 episodes are a bit more episodic, and then we get more storytelling. But I kind of really like the episodic stuff a lot. I like the one-off adventures. I like the episode with Lloyd and Aaron going to, like, fight the crab monster. Like, yes, you could say it's filler, but it's, like, it's fun, and it expands the world building a ton. And I think with 20 episodes, you don't need every episode to, like, advance the plot a heavy degree. You know, like, the season's story could easily probably have been told in, like, 10 episodes if they wanted to. But then you miss out on, like, the fun world building and character moments that I think is what makes Dragon's Rising so enjoyable. And it's something the 11-minute format couldn't really do. So I'm glad they're really taking advantage of the time they have to just, like, slow down and just, like, expand the world. Just expand the characters. You know. I think splitting up the cast was a really smart decision. This is not going well. Taxes are now canon to Ninjago. I would have really liked to see Zane's invention actually work out. See, if Zane can invent that, then why do they need Frohickey there? He can invent an assistant. But, you know, Frohickey's awesome, so. Frohickey's also really fun. I feel like maybe they gave him a bit too many scenes. Like, we didn't need a whole side plot in an episode to be dedicated to Frohickey, like, shenanigans, but it was also really funny. Maybe he had one too many scenes and it kind of repeated the same, you know, joke a bit too many times with him, but I mean, he's a fun character. There's a lot of stuff like that in Dragon's Rising Part 2, where it's like, it seems like maybe some things go on for a bit too long, but you also gotta remember, this is a 20-episode season, so they have the time. I mean, it's hard to say. We don't know how the last 5 episodes are gonna go. But, you know, considering Part 1, you know, they have the time to spend on these things, and I feel like the more that they enhance the characters, I just hope maybe Frohickey has some importance later on. But even if he doesn't, No, it's just like it's a fun thing. Not everything has to be super important, you know. It's a different way that they're doing. It's a different way they're structuring the season than we're used to. I think once you accept that, it's a lot easier to kind of just have fun with it. It's funny to see people hating on Wildfire and Zane losing the Zane contest. Dude, Zane losing the Zane contest was really funny. I do find it interesting how, like, he did, at the end of it, he was like, am I really the same Zane? And it's like, okay, we've kind of done this before, but they didn't actually play it seriously, really. Like, it seemed like at first they were actually playing it seriously, but it was kind of just like a joke. They didn't really go anywhere with it, which I'm glad, because, like, that was like the whole Tournament of Elements thing, right? They still haven't explained where Zane actually came from, and I'm really curious as... Like, I'm kind of worried that they're just never going to explain that, which would be really lame. Because Zane isn't even questioning it. Like, Zane hasn't even been like, oh yeah, I wonder, like, why I was there for so long. It makes me wonder, like, if they actually plan on having that be a thing. What do you think about Lloyd risking his life for Rapton? I think it's a very good, like, change of pace, I guess, from... I mean, I hate to bring up Crystallized, but it's a very good course correction for his character. Because I think a big part of Lloyd's character has just been, like, how willing he is to help people and do good by the people of Ninjago. And, you know, in Crystallized, he kind of went against that in a lot of ways, and a lot of people weren't a fan of that. And I'm glad that Dragon's Rising is just again and again proving how much Lloyd is really willing to just, like, you know, risk his life to save people, even if they're not necessarily good people. I think it's very fitting for Lloyd. Like, that doesn't bother me at all. And I also think Rapton's just, like, a funny character, so seeing him in that predicament was really funny. And, like, yeah, it's predictable that he would, like, obviously turn on them the second he gets free, but, you know. I think it was fine. If Cole will make a cameo in the finale. See, the Cole thing continues to, like, I'm really excited to see Cole in part 2, but I really, really wish that the trailers didn't show him. Though I am really thankful that Jay has yet to be seen in any of the marketing. And I hope it stays that way. Like, please, don't show us Jay. Like, if there's gonna be one surprise for Dragon's Rising Part 2 that hasn't been, like, completely spoiled, it's how they're gonna introduce Jay again. Because they kind of already spoiled a lot of stuff in the trailers. They kind of already spoiled Cole's return, which, like, obviously we knew he was going to come back, but not in the way that we thought, maybe initially. And I'm glad that they teased it at the end of episode 5. It gives me something to look forward to for part 2. Like, I already know that episode 16 is going to be probably going to be a really fun episode. I'm really excited to see it. They set up a lot of stuff for episode 16 and 15. I think episode 15 was actually a really good way to transition. Assuming they're going to do what I think they are in having the last 5 episodes be a bit more plot heavy. They did a really good job in episode 15 of just setting up all these little things. They did a really good job. Because they teased the administration, and then they set up Cole's return, which I think is fantastic. And if they do the route that I think they are with Jay and the administration, then, you know, having a shot of Rapton being electrocuted by something off screen, like, if you, this is one of the things. This is why I hate the marketing. If I hadn't seen the trailers, I probably would have thought that was Jay. Like, immediately. I would have been like, wait, Jay just shocked Rapton off screen? And then they cut to, like, the administration guys, and I'd be even more shocked. I'd be like, wait, who are these people? And then they teleport through a portal. I'm like, what did I just witness? Like, that would have been crazy had the marketing not spoiled it in the trailers. That just frustrates me so much. Wonder where Dareth is. I really hope Dareth shows up at some point. I like how they had the Clutch Powers book for a little bit. I think it would have been... there's a lot of Ninjago side characters I think would be fun to see, but none that I think are absolutely necessary. Other than maybe the Dragon Hunters. Like, I think the Dragon Hunters, since the story is based on dragons, you know, I would kind of hope we see the Dragon Hunters make an appearance. I think it would be pretty fitting. Dare that with powers now. Remember when Jay was a horribly flanderized? I missed that. I'm hoping Dragon's Rising will take steps to make Jay better, because I already like Nia a lot. I mean, I already like Nia a lot, but, like, you know, crystallized. But I already think Nia has a lot more personality than she has had traditionally. I like her dynamic with Sora. They're really using the new character dynamics to kind of make the cast feel a lot more fleshed out, which I enjoy. I think Kai is great, even if I feel like Kai isn't really the same character he used to be. I think this new version of Kai is fantastic. And, you know, they've been kind of molding this new version of Kai since, like, Season 11. Maybe even before that. Since, like, Sons of Garmadon, really. But now I feel like they finally, like, figured him out. They finally got Kai figured out. And his dynamic with Wildfire continues to be really funny and enjoyable. Zane is a weird one, because I feel like Zane is kind of being treated the same way he's been used in the past. I already enjoy him a lot more than I did in part 1. Which I figured I would, because obviously he has more screen time now. Is this... what kind of weapon is this? Oh, it's a rogue weapon. But, yeah, Zane does seem... he's still kind of just played for jokes. They don't really seem to be taking his character that seriously. Which is a bit unfortunate, but, you know. They're giving him fun stuff to do. He's getting fun side plots, and I enjoy that he's getting at least some kind of focus. Well, the firstborn is a source dragon. I'm curious to see if they'll do anything with firstborn. I feel like firstborn kind of has to show up at some point. But, yeah, I think the first realm in general is, like, really important to have in Dragon's Rising. But I'm not really sure, like, how they would do it. I don't think they're gonna do it in this season. I think maybe season 2 we could see the Dragon Hunters again. And Firstborn and everything. Because, especially with, like, Imperium hunting dragons, you'd think the Dragon Hunters would have something to say about it. Even, like, they don't hunt... I'm assuming, you know, after Faith took over, they don't hunt dragons anymore. They probably aren't called the Dragon Hunters still. But, you know, you would think they would have... Now that they're kind of like, you know, dragon peacekeepers, you'd think they would want to kind of help out and stop Imperium too. And I think it would be cool to find out that they they're kind of in the process of trying to do that. Or at least find out what they're doing about it. I don't know all the side characters to show, but it's funny that Chancellor Gulch is the first show, but I thought Chancellor Gulch was really funny. That was a really funny cameo, and it was really fitting too. Like I really enjoyed that. It really took me back to like Master of the Mountain vibes, like immediately. It really did feel like a Master of the Mountain like episode, which is really fun. I like that a lot. I don't know. I like it when Ninjago does goofy stuff. I like it when they mess with their characters and just have fun scenarios. I think Dragon's Rising has done such a good job of that. The only times that I don't really enjoy it that much is when it kind of is placed oddly within a season. Like, I love Master of the Mountain, and I like those episodes in isolation, with like the ones on the geckos, but they were placed really poorly within the season. Because you go from like this really like well done story about Cole and like his whole arc and struggles and stuff, and then you cut abruptly to Geckos and Month's shenanigans, and it just doesn't really work. But because Dragon's Rising is really it's very tonally consistent, even the villains aren't taken that seriously. To be fair, neither was the Skull Sword, neither was Vangelis, really. But you know what I mean. Like the plot isn't taken that seriously. It's not. There's no super in-depth character story happening right now. As much as I'd love there to be, you know, it's kind of more focused on fleshing out the characters and fleshing out the world through fun scenarios and dynamics. So while part 1 may have had a bit more character focus for like Sora and Aaron, I don't mind kind of taking a step back to just like view the team, just have some antics play out. And again, we have no idea what the next 5 episodes are going to entail. We have no clue. I also kind of wanted so I feel like I did want to talk about the plot a little bit, because I feel like right now it's kind of my biggest grievance with Dragon's Rising. Because I enjoy the episodes a lot, but I think the overarching story isn't fantastic. I think mostly in part 2 so far. Like, we've had Ninjago fetch quests in the past, but I feel like the Dragon Core's fetch quest kind of feels the most contrived out of all of them so far. And I get why they're doing it. They want an excuse for the ninja to like go to all these different crazy places and like find all these different characters and stuff. I think it's a fun idea, but I kind of wish they did put like more emphasis on explaining, you know, like where they came from, because I kind of just brushed it over there. It's like, oh yeah, there's 3 Dragon Cores, they're in 3 different places. First Spinjitsu Master entrusted people with them. It's like we kind of already did this with the storm amulets, and then even there it was like set up way better. We had like a whole special to set up the storm amulet. And then we had like this whole lore thing about the Merlopians and the island, like the keepers of the amulet. It felt a lot more, you know, naturally fit into the story, and I was a lot more compelled for the mission to track them down. especially because the threat was very imminent and it was very clear. It was like, get these and Kalmar will awake, like literally like drown the entire world. And even back in Rise of the Snakes, it was very like the 4 Fang Blades. You know, the 4 golden weapons. We've had fetch quests before, but they've been done very well in the past, I feel like, especially with things like the Fang Blades and the amulets. They've been set up well, they've been explained well, the lore makes sense. I don't think the Dragon Cores are terrible, it's just... It feels very brushed over, and it feels very contrived, just to be like, okay, we need something for them to go after. We need something for the villain to want. And it doesn't ruin it at all, but... I feel like that's my biggest complaint with the season so far. Are you worried about how the season ends? Not too much. I mean, I do hope it ends on a strong note, but I also have a feeling it's going to end on a pretty big, like... I don't think it's going to be a super solid ending. I have a feeling that they're really going to lean into Season 2. I have a feeling that Roz is probably going to be an important piece in setting up for Season 2. I feel like Roz is definitely going to be a Season 2 focus, maybe. That's just kind of what I'm predicting. So I feel like the finale will, it might, like, they'll probably stop, like, Empress Beatrix and, you know, maybe get the Dragon Cores in their possession. I'm thinking that maybe we'll see, you know, Roz do something. And I feel like it's not going to be the most conclusive ending, because there's still going to be a lot of things unsolved. We're probably still not going to see Pixel. We're probably still not going to see Wu. Jay might be back. I don't know. Like, I don't even know if Jay's going to be returning. I don't even know if Cole's going to be necessarily back on the team either. I mean, we know he'll be there. But I feel like there's definitely going to be a lot of stuff open. So I'm not expecting anything crazy, you know? I'm not really expecting much from the finale. I think, really, it's... I don't think there's really much they could do to disappoint me with it. You know, as long as it's enjoyable. Hopefully there's some closure to either Sora or Aaron's story. Or arc. Which, at this point, they haven't really done much to continue their development. Like, Sora hasn't really done much. She's kind of still learning and growing and getting out of the whole, like, pessimism thing. She's kind of learning to think a bit more positively now that she's like, okay, you know, maybe I do have powers and maybe I can help. So now it's kind of about, you know, how can I like, what am I trying to say? The whole Jin episode, it's like the whole Hope story, which is pretty played out. I feel like especially in Ninjago already, but like we had Hunted, the whole story with Wu was about having faith and everything. And of course, there's more layers to it, which is why I think I found it enjoyable. I hope Sora has more layers to her story moving forward. And same with Aaron, because the only really bit about Aaron we got in these first 5 episodes was him learning more about his Spinjitsu powers. Not really learning more about it, just trying to harness them better. And in the episode where he was kind of trying to do the Spinjitsu throw, he didn't even use it to defeat the... Oh, jeez, what is this? Okay. He didn't even use it to actually defeat the enemy. He didn't use it to defeat the crab. Which I'm guessing is because they're gonna have it be an important moment later when he finally does it, maybe in the finale or something. I also find it really disappointing how he got his suit off screen. I think that could have been a really cool moment for Aaron to like actually get his ninja suit for the first time. But he kind of just got it off screen, which is a bit disappointing too. But maybe the next 5 episodes will do more for their characters, or maybe Season 2 will do more for their characters. Maybe they want to slowly tell their story instead of kind of rushing through it in a season. But we got so much on Sora in the first 10 episodes, it feels kind of weird to kind of like only have her be present in like 2 of them, or at least have a major role. Like Sora only really has a major role in 1 of the 5 episodes so far. Same with Aaron. It feels like it does kind of feel like, you know, watching these first 5 episodes without the next 5, it feels like they've already kind of sidelined the 2 main characters. Wildfire has gotten more focused than both of them. But I think that's just because we've only seen the first 5. Hope Beatrice gets to be in battle more than 2 episodes. Yeah. She had like her giant mech at the end of part 1, and then she hasn't even. I was like, where did that go? Where did the mech go? It's kind of odd. It kind of just went away. Klaus is now roaming as he's last seen on the world before the merge. That actually reminds me, I'm also they keep having like these ghost-like characters that aren't actually ghosts. They like call them like spirits. And I'm like left to wonder is in Ninjago is a spirit different from a ghost? Are those completely different entities? Like they in the first episode they have like the spirit of the temple. And like it's like a single one merged into 2, but Nia's water Spinjitsu does nothing against them. But they play like the Moro music. And then they have like the curse, which I think at first I was kind of weirded out. I was like, okay, so these are also kind of like ghosts, but they're also spirits and they're also skeleton people. Like, what is what? And then it was revealed that they were a curse, and I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense. They're just cursed beings, I guess. Sure. It's just it's like, are we gonna see like actual ghosts in Dragon's Rising from the cursed realm, or from I guess the departed realm? And we still don't know how that works. We know the departed realm is there, but now are the spirits free from it? It is a bit confusing. There are confusing aspects. There's a lot so far that I'm like, I kind of wish some of this stuff is explained. And I have a feeling maybe some of it will be, and some of it probably will never. But, you know. Who knows? Are there different types of ghosts? Yeah, it sounds dumb, but I feel like the way they've been specifying spirits, like, is a spirit different from a ghost? Is that an actual thing? Is that how we're doing this? Like, I don't know. It sounds dumb, but like maybe. Because if not, we have yet to see an actual ghost as we know them. Love the fact that the Crossroads didn't even notice the ninja are just around them. Yeah, everyone's so oblivious to the ninja. I kind of like that. I like how they're like they have like a whole day for Zane, but then they don't even recognize him when he's right in front of them. I find it really hilarious. How the civilians are just so like they're so oblivious to everything. I hope we see Jay doing something different than helping everyone with the other ninja. Yeah, I think I have high hopes for Jay's thing. I think the only thing that could disappoint me about Dragon's Rising Part 2 is how they handle Jay. From the trailers, it already seems like Cole is going to be handled really well. Even if it's similarly to like how Nia and Kai came back. But I like what I've seen from the trailers and what we saw at the end of episode 15. Though I'm curious as to why he was so quick to just like throw Sora like 50 feet. It's just like he did not hold back in that fight. I don't know how he didn't notice that it was Nia already. That was kind of odd. Because he was like, because Nia like attacked, like he saw Nia and Sora, and obviously he doesn't know who Sora is, so sure. But like, he saw Nia and like immediately started attacking, and then she did Spinjitsu, and that's when he realized. And then Nia somehow, from him saying Spinjitsu, just then realized, like, Nia, that whole scene is kind of strange to me. Nia throws, like, a spear at his chest, and he, like, uses earth to absorb it. But he's a rock monster, so why is that what tips her off to it? It's strange. It's a weird, they revealed it weird, is what I'm trying to say. That was a weird scene. But who knows? Maybe the next episode will have it make more sense. Because it's just a rock guy with Cole's voice. So Nia has to like throw a spear at him, and then that's what gets her to like. It's strange. It's really weird. But I liked it. I enjoyed what they were trying to do. It was just funny to me. I mean, he hasn't seen Nia's new suit, but is it that much different from, like, Nia's other suits? She's, like, the only person walking around in a ninja costume in blue and gray. I think it's funnier how Nia sees a giant rock monster and then throws a spear at it. Watches it absorb it, and then that's what's like, oh, Cole. And it wasn't when, like, he talked first. Or when she saw that there was a giant rock golem. Which, you know, there's been in the past, so I don't blame her for not thinking it was Cole right away, but it's weird how she came to the conclusion. I just think it's funny, though. I hope Chima becomes canon to the merge. I hope so too, but I doubt it. I don't think they're gonna... I have a feeling that they don't want to bring up Chima. I feel like they're avoiding it. I feel like they're purposely trying to like step around it, you know. They've introduced so many like new animal creatures, and I feel like they're really trying to imply, yeah, these are different realms. These aren't Chima. Like, these are, like, the snail people are from a different realm. You know, Frohickey is he's from a different realm. Frohickey could be from Chima, I don't know. But, like, they haven't... It's weird, they definitely don't want to name drop it. I feel like they would have already. Unless they're really teasing, like, a Chima reveal, which I don't think they would be. I don't think they wrote Dragon's Rising being like, oh yeah, the fans are really gonna be anticipating Chima to come up. Like, I kind of doubt it. But who knows? I think it would be really funny if Chima was important. Or at least had a reference. Because it is a canon realm, and I don't think we can just ignore that fact. Spinjitsu animation's kind of bad besides the good animation backgrounds. I think the Spinjitsu looks good. I will agree, I think it's looked better in the past, but I like the cartoony effect. I like how the powers are more cartoonish. Kind of separates it a little bit from the old show. I do think they could look better, though. Like it. Yeah, this is what I wanted. Wee. Yeah, I do feel like, what was I saying? Oh, I got the shadow key. Sick. I think this Spinjitsu could look better. I think a lot of the elements could look better. Like, Lloyd's green energy doesn't look quite as good as it used to. Like, Wildbrain, like, the early Wildbrain stuff, like Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitsu, looked really clean. with Spinjitsu and the effects. But I think they're going for something a bit more cartoony. I think Wildfire's like flame effect looks really cool. I don't know about Raz being. I know Raz being from the wildness is like something people have been talking about on Twitter. I didn't. I mean, I didn't actually. I don't think he's gonna be from Chima. I do want him to be because I think it'll be funny, but I don't think he's gonna be. And I think if he was in the wildness, it would make sense. I think that would make. I think that would make sense from what we've been shown of it, which has been very little, to be fair. Yeah, Kai is really funny in Dragon's Rising. Yeah, the mother garden was really cool. I like I like how the places that they go to are just progressively getting weirder. Like they kind of started us off with like, here's a bit of old realms, like here's the realm of madness, here's like the Cloud Kingdom. We've kind of seen these before, and for new viewers, they're fun little new places, but there's nothing that crazy. And now we have like a realm that's like literally just a junkyard. We have a realm that has like all these weird plants and stuff. It's like very fantastical. Like even the music is very fantastical. And like up like from what we've seen in the trailers, the administration's probably going to be a pretty interesting place. Like they're kind of ramping up the weirdness of the realms as we keep going. I think it's really cool. I like how they're doing that. They're kind of making things more interesting as we go on. Rapton singing his own theme. Dude, Rapton continues to be such a funny character too. They're the comedy, like I think there's definitely a lot of jokes that don't land for me, for sure. There's a lot of dialogue that I think is kind of hit or miss, but when the comedy lands, it's really funny. It's really good. Yeah, that's kind of how Ninjago is as a whole for me. Dialogue all the time isn't always the best, but they always manage to do really well with the how they present their characters. Oceans changes a cool concept. Yeah, I forgot about that too. There's a lot of really cool hints to other realms that we haven't seen yet. Like, oh, there's like this red water from another realm. I wonder that, but like I feel like they're hinting at like not only are they're kind of showing how the merge is affecting different places, which is really good for world building. But they're also kind of like hinting at different places we could see in the future, like a place with different colored water. We'll probably see that at some point. It's cool ways to just subtly hint at like things that are to come and how the merge is just affecting places. I also really like seeing how the Hydra Whippers have like a kind of like a gang. Oh, jeez, come on. Administration is Ninjago backrooms. It'd be really funny if the administration is literally not even a realm. It's just like it's just an office building. It's just like in the crossroads somewhere. No, I really hope the administration is just like a really weird place. Just like really strange and like kind of like kind of futuristic, but not. Just like I just want it to be really out there. My opinions on source dragons? I don't really have too many opinions on. Well, that's cool. I don't really have too many opinions on the source dragons right now because they haven't really explained them too much. Like, we haven't really gotten a lot about them. So much stuff in my inventory. I just hope that they kind of go into the source dragons a bit more. Wish they made the Bone Warriors cooler. I was kind of disappointed. I liked them. I thought they were fun. I do find it interesting how a lot of the characters are kind of like a lot of the villains they showed in the trailers don't really play that big of a role. But I think it's funny how many like just villainous little gangs there are around. You know what? I'm just gonna. Okay, I don't want to use that actually. I think they did a good job kind of just like fleshing out the world with all these different villains. Where they'll keep introducing places and then we'll not know what's a realm and then just place. Yeah, it is. They do seem to be introducing a lot of stuff without really explaining it very well. And I'm kind of holding out hope that things will be like fleshed out later. Because yeah, that is a valid concern. It's a valid concern for sure. We see Shintaro and Merlopia. I'm glad we've seen stuff like from those places. Alright. Can't I use this to... There we go. Alright. I see. Yeah, I like the skeleton guys. I think they were funny. I did expect more from them, but I'm not really disappointed. I do wonder. I mean, they said they are from the underworld, so are those just what the skull can look like now? Or are there different types of them? Keep that. 90. I don't really need those. Don't need those. I got meteorite. Meteor never landed in this world, like, ever. Just realize that. Oh yeah, the months from the... I completely forgot about the months from the trailer. I didn't even know she was in a gym temple. I think she researched it in the Cloud Kingdom. Yeah, Nia did a lot of research in the Cloud Kingdom. Again, I wish she had more to say on that, because it seems weird that she would meet a Jin in person and not even mention Skybound. Not even allude to it. It's odd. Yeah, I was also expecting Nia to be hesitant. I mean, yeah, I see what you mean. Like, you don't want Nia to... I don't think it would be right for Nia to, like, not, like, want to befriend the new Jin. But she should be a little bit more, like, I don't know. I just think she should have mentioned it in some way. It didn't have to be like a plot point. It didn't have to be like a whole thing. It just should have been at least just a little bit of a mention. Because it just feels kind of weird for her not to. But it's also not a huge issue. I just think if they were going to do that, that was like their opportunity to kind of give us a glimpse of how she feels about Skybound events this much later. Why is everyone green? That's strange. Oh, it's because I have the potion. It is weird. But, you know, I'm not too upset about it. It's just as someone who actually really enjoys, like, the Jin and Skybound and stuff, it's... But it's also a show for new viewers. But like I said earlier, they haven't strayed away from, like, you know, Chancellor Gulch being, like, talking about the events of Master of the Mountain. Like, they're not afraid to talk about older seasons and, like, kind of summarize them. They did it within the same few episodes. It's especially something like they did with Lloyd and Moro in episode 5 of with Euphrasia. Yeah, exactly. Just a little thing like that. Because imagine how weird it would have been in that episode if Lloyd just never, or like nobody said anything about wind elements, and like no one said anything about Moro after seeing a new Wind Master. Like he didn't even have to name drop Moro. Like if you watch the old show, you know who he's talking about. But it's not like new viewers are gonna watch that and be like really confused and lost. They're just gonna be like, oh, there was an old Master of Wind, and he probably wasn't that great of a person. That's all you get from that. Like, just anything. Like, Nia could have... Just one line. Just a single line. About... Just... you know, from Nia would have been enough for me. And the fact that she was chosen to be in the episode about a Jin coming back, and she didn't have a single piece of dialogue about her past experience with Jin is really weird to me. Oh yeah, I forgot too. Like, okay, so I don't think Nia knows that she was the one responsible for Jinjago falling. Because in Skybound, like, they knew Jinjago fell. But Nauticon's the only person that was told that it was the ninja. Nauticon didn't even know it was Nia. So, yeah, I don't have an issue with that. Because it is kind of like the whole... I've seen people kind of compare it to the whole, like, Pythor and Harumi situation. Where it's like, oh yeah, there's a meteor. Pythor's like, uh... Pythor, like, summoned a Great Devourer, and Harumi supposedly has no idea. But I think it makes sense here, because I don't think Nia nor Nauticon ever even knew that it was her fault. We, as the audience, I think are the only people who know that it was Nia's fault for the Jinjago being destroyed. But yeah, the whole Jin episode is weird. I like it a lot, but it's weird. It's really strange. It has a lot of questionable things in it. But overall, it's fun. I like the character a lot, and I hope he comes back. Also, they kind of hinted at in that episode. They were kind of hinting at Jinjago like being a thing again, like Jinjago coming back his wish power grew stronger because he had like the small piece of land. I was kind of hoping we would see like Jinjago and Ruin. Um, and it's weird how they say like all the merged realms like came together, but Jinjago can't come together if it doesn't exist. So I was thinking, oh, well, there's probably just like the ruins of Jinjago somewhere. But no, apparently Jinjago has been reduced to its single grain of sand. Um, which is kind of odd to me. But they also kind of alluded to the fact that, oh, maybe Jinjago could come back and he'll reform it. Which I think would be interesting. But then it kind of, you run into the problem if his powers are back to full form, and he's an ally to the ninja, then couldn't he just have the ninja wish for anything? They also never clarified whether or not the ninja only have 3 wishes or not still. I'm assuming they do. I'm guessing, I mean, obviously that Nia wouldn't be able to wish for anything. So she has, it's based on Jin and not based on total lifetime. Unless reversing the events gave her wishes back, which I guess would make sense. Even if she remembers it, it's weird. It's a whole thing. That's why I'm surprised they even bothered with it, because it's like the Skybound, the Jin lore, not even the lore, just the rules of the wishes is so convoluted and so hard to write a story around. And it like almost never makes sense. Oh yeah, Labo in episode 13. Labo is definitely a standout. They're just good at making fun characters in Dragon's Rising. And they're really kind of building up this whole thing of just a bunch of new side characters that we haven't seen before. Which I think is preferable to them just bringing back a bunch of old ones. Even if it is fun to see old side characters show up, and there's been a few. Oh, that's gonna fall in the lava. That would not be good. Yep, that's not good. I did not mean to do that. Oh, well, I'm dead. Welp. I have never even seen that boss in this mod before. That was an experience. Dia could have wished for Jinjago to be recreated. I don't think she could have because the Jin was very clear about how his powers are very weak still, so he couldn't wish for anything. Which I said early on the stream was kind of sketchy because he could wish for the spirit. Like, what wish is what's the limit for wishing if a Jin's wish powers are still weak? Because they couldn't really just wish for the dragon cores. Like, Nia couldn't just be like, oh, I wish to have all 3 dragon cores. That's why she wished to know where they were, because his powers were weak, I'm guessing. But then, like, he could also wish to undo a curse, or, like, destroy a curse. So is that, like, how far can the wishes go if a Jin's wish powers are weak? Obviously, I think creating all of Jinjago, like, creating an entire realm, I don't think that's gonna work. So I think, he has to kind of, expand his powers for the rock to slowly grow into Jinjago. But it's just weird. It's like, what is the extent of these wishes? And once you have Jinjago, assuming that happens, then can you not just have the ninja wish for anything they would ever need ever? Doesn't that seems a little powerful? But who knows? Maybe Ninjago or maybe Jinjago will never come back. It just seems like they were kind of hinting at it. Frohiki is the Dareth of Dragon's Rising. Frohiki is really... I really enjoy Frohiki's inclusion. Glad they're giving Zane someone to bounce off of, too. All the characters get, like, a fun little dynamic, which is really cool. Could Labo be from the administration? That would be really funny. I'm really curious about the administration. I'm really excited for that. I really hope it's cool. Or just like a fun location. I have high hopes for the next 5 episodes, and I think these first 5 episodes have only made me more excited to see how the rest of the season pans out. I just want some cool stuff to happen. And I'm mostly excited for the administration because we've barely seen it in the trailers. And again, we have no idea. Like, we haven't seen Jay in the trailers. We don't know how they're gonna reveal him. Of course, it's easy to assume that he's in the administration somehow, but how are they gonna find him? What's he gonna be doing? I'm excited for that, and I really hope they don't give it away in a trailer. I hope they don't release any more trailers before Part 2 officially releases. Because I do not want to see, I don't want to see Jay before the season comes out. There's a chance Jay doesn't even show up in part 2, which I think would be actually really interesting. If he just didn't show up. I'm also glad that they've actually been hinting at Pixel coming back too. Because like they went like until the Zane came back, like they really never mentioned Pixel. But it's cool to see that Zane actually like is still thinking about Pixel. I'm glad because I was kind of annoyed that Pixel wasn't, you know. Pixel wasn't really mentioned. I'll use this one. Oh wow. That apply a debuff, I wonder. Also, I didn't tell him the grandchild for Spinjitsu Master. Am I crazy? Because, okay. I said this on Twitter. I don't think a lot of people agree with me on this. I think it's kind of strange, because a lot of people have been talking about, like, the whole lore thing. I think the whole lore dump is, it wasn't really well done, but, like, the lore doesn't bother me. Like, the lore itself is fine, sure. First Spinjitsu Master created more than just Ninjago. Cool. But just the way that they just threw that in there, and, like, I feel like if I was a new viewer, like, do they mention the first Spinjitsu Master at all before that episode? Because I feel like I don't remember them doing that. If they did, then sure, I guess it's okay. It just seems really weird to, like, for a new viewer to just be like, oh yeah, by the way, first Spinjitsu Master created Jinjago and also a bunch of other realms and all this, and it's like, it's not terrible, but it's like, it's not the best way to convey that, you know? At least in my opinion. Yeah, I did like the line about Sora was like, or it was either Sora or Aaron, I can't remember. It was like, you just now telling me you're the son of the first Spinjitzu Master? I don't remember them mentioning the first Spinjitzu Master in Dragon's Rising at all before. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe they did and I just forgot. I might have just forgotten. That's completely possible. Nice. Now I got easy teleportation. That's not used for anything. Uh-oh, Vile Thorn. First time they mentioned Garmadon. Did they mention Garmadon? What happened to Echo Zane during the merge? They forgot about Echo Zane completely. If they wanted to bring Echo Zane back, they would have by now. I think Echo Zane is just deactivated at this point in the lighthouse. I don't think he works anymore. Or he's just chilling there, who knows? Yeah, if you don't... That's what Dragon... That's what Dragon's Rising is trying to do, World of Cars. But it doesn't... see, again, I might be mistaken. From my understanding, I don't remember them ever talking about the first Spinjitsu Master in Dragon's Rising before. I might be wrong, I might have forgotten. But it's like... if not, then Lloyd must have told them about the first Spinjitzu off camera, or maybe Aaron already knew about the first Spinjitzu Master, but like the audience doesn't know that if they're just watching the show. Like if you are just watching Dragon's Rising, assuming that I'm correct about them not mentioning him before, then you don't know who the first Spinjitzu Master is. So having Aaron be like, I didn't know you were like the grandson of the first Spinjitzu Master implies that Aaron already knows who that is, but the audience doesn't. Or a new viewer wouldn't. So it's kind of confusing. But for the most part, they do a good job of that, I agree. Aaron and Sora are kind of there. Mostly Sora to be like a introduction to the characters in the world and what Ninjago is and all that kind of stuff. It's just odd when they have information like that come kind of from nowhere. I haven't seen... I don't pay attention to Reddit, so I did not realize that it was getting attention outside of Ninjago subreddits, but I think that's cool. I think the more exposure to Ninjago, the better. I have seen it's been trending on Twitter for like the past 4 days, so that's pretty cool. I don't know if it's trending for good reasons or not, but, you know, it's trending. Also, it is weird of the perceptions from like Aaron and Sora, but they haven't really been the focus of the recent 5 episodes. I don't know. It's strange. But, you know, it's not like they're introducing anything in these 5 episodes that's too groundbreaking that people aren't going to understand. It makes sense. Lloyd told the Green Ghost he's the son of Garmadon, who's the first Spinjitzu Master. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. So Garmadon has been mentioned. Which is pretty cool. Anyway. What was I doing? Yeah, yeah. The realms seem to be pretty big in size, and it is weird that we only get to see a part of each realm, really. But you know, it makes sense. There's definitely a lot of places to explore. I'm glad they're expanding the realms beyond just like, you know, one place. You know, they have all these different areas within them. Just like Ninjago has all these different areas within them. Like, there's so much to still explore. So hopefully they take advantage of that. I agree. Dragon's Rising proved to me how necessary Wu is now. He really doesn't need to be in the show anymore. I mean, I kind of felt how Wu has been unnecessary for a while now. I think they're going to bring him back. I just don't know how. I do think it's cool how he's been gone for so long, though. I have a feeling they'll bring him back in some way, though. But yeah, he's pretty unnecessary. Roz should have appeared more. I have a feeling they're saving Roz for season 2. Maybe he'll do something in the finale. How'd you feel Garmadon came back? I don't know. I don't know, honestly. I want Garmadon. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really down for another, because if they brought Garmadon back, you know it's going to be another Lloyd and Garmadon story probably, and they're probably going to focus on that, and I don't know. By crystallized judging of it, it's like Crystallized wants us to believe that they ended off on a good note and that they're, you know, happy father and son. And whatever. I'm fine with that. It's just where are they gonna take their story from there, you know? And I'm not really on the edge of my seat wanting another Garmadon and Lloyd story. So unless they like pair Garmadon up with like someone else, like if they had Garmadon back, I think what I'd want them to do is not have him be with Lloyd, but have him be with like Aaron and Sora or something. Have Garmadon be paired up with like someone else. Have Garmadon interact with someone who isn't Lloyd or Wu. That's what I want to see. Because I'm really tired of Lloyd and Garmadon stories. I don't want to see another one. Especially after Crystallized. I'm done with that. But I know a lot of people like their dynamic, so... You know, maybe... That's just, I don't know. The Ninja's reaction is, oh, Wu dead anyways. They did good stuff with Lloyd in part 1. I remember wanting to see more from Lloyd in part 1 about Wu being gone. They kind of expanded about that in episode 11, where he's kind of trying to take care of the monastery all by himself, and he's like, oh, if Wu could do it, I can do it. And, you know, Wu did this, so it's my responsibility now, and I like that. I think it's a good... Sure, it's weird the other ninja don't really have any reaction to it, but I'm glad Lloyd does. And I think it's... If they continued that direction, I think it's a good way to handle it. It's not too in your face, you know. Whenever Cole got this new power. I'm really curious about Cole. If there's one thing, I am upset that the trailers kind of spoiled Cole, like Cole's like in reintroduction, but they haven't really spoiled like what Cole's whole deal is too much yet. So I'm really excited to learn that. I'm really excited for that episode. And presumably that'll be the next episode. That'll be episode 16 once the full season comes out. Which I'll probably be rewatching the first 5 episodes first, and then the next 5 episodes on Netflix when they officially release. Garmadon and Wildfire. That would be really funny. That would be really fun to see. I don't know what they would do with that concept, with that pairing, but that would be a really fun dynamic, I think. The weird thing about Garmadon to me, though, is that he's like... I always have to remember, Crystallized ended on him being, like, good guy Garmadon. Like, he was trying to be a good guy before, but, like, you know, like... As much as I don't buy into it, because of the way they presented it, you know, Crystallized ends with Lloyd and Garmadon being on good terms. And Garmadon's, like, he's completed his arc. So, like, if he comes back, he's gonna be like nice guy Garmadon, you know? He's not gonna be like Crystallized Garmadon, he's not gonna be like March of the Oni Garmadon, you know? He's gonna be another different iteration of the character. Like, we've seen so many different versions of Garmadon. If he comes back in Dragon's Rising, oh my goodness, why is this... This game lags a lot when I'm streaming, apparently, is what I've learned. No, but, like, yeah, it's gonna be another iteration of the character. For, like, the billionth time. Which, you know, it's fun. It's a fun thing to think about, but... I would think he would act a bit more like Sensei Garmadon at that point. like pretty much just Sensei Garmadon, but in Oni Garmadon body. But I don't know. I don't know how they would characterize him. I really don't. I really enjoy. I like Wildfire a lot. I know a lot of people find Wildfire annoying. I really like Wildfire. I think Wildfire is a really funny character. I think it's really cool to have a main character who isn't as morally like, who's more morally gray, I guess. Like she's not like she doesn't want to necessarily be like a hero, you know, like the other ninja. She's kind of just in it for her own goals. And I like that. I think it's a fun little twist on your typical Ninjago hero character, especially when she's paired right next to like when she's in the same season as like Eren and Sora, who are like the definition of, oh, we want to be good guys and help people. It's cool to have Wildfire there to kind of like mix it up. And I just hope that like she does, like it seems like they're setting up for her to have an arc of some kind. And it feels like with the kind of cliffhanger at the end of episode 15 with with the dragon being hurt, with Heatwave being injured, it feels like she's gonna kind of start taking things more seriously after that happens. Which I think is a really good like plot point. I think Nelson. I always kind of feel bad for Nelson since Eren kind of, you know, like Eren is pretty much Nelson if he was like a main character. So I feel kind of bad for for Nelson. He kind of. Sorry, Nelson, you didn't learn Spinjitsu on your own, so. I think it'd be funny if Nelson came back. It's the purple ninja. Because Nelson's been like a thing of like, oh, being the purple ninja for so long. But he's never actually gotten to really do anything cool. Which I think it's kind of has its own charm to it, because, you know, Nelson's kind of, he's not a typical ninja, you know, he's kind of like Dareth in that way. But, I don't know, probably more competent. Where he's a ninja in a different sense, you know? He helps out in different ways than just, you know, being a good fighter and having an elemental power using Spinjitsu. So, I would hope they would keep that aspect about Nelson, I guess. I prefer was crystallized. Crystallized Garmadon's probably my favorite version. Yeah, but if they did crystallize Garmadon again, then that would pretty much just remove all the development that he went through in that season. Which I think would be kind of lame. Because Garmadon was like one of the only characters, if not the only character in Crystallized, to actually have a consistent and decently done arc. It'll be a shame to just kind of throw that away. Don't bring back Sensei Garmadon opinion. I can't see the characters Sensei Garmadon and Crystallized Garmadon. Yeah, I'm just saying if they were to bring back Garmadon, I feel like he would act closer to Sensei Garmadon than, like, Emperor Garmadon. After his crystallized arc. But, you know, maybe he wouldn't be as wise, you know, obviously. He wouldn't have all the life experience that Sensei Garmadon had. Because he's kind of just a reincarnation. I don't know. Garmadon's a weird character for me. I never know what to think, how to feel about Garmadon. He's such a weird character in my eyes. Oh yeah, if Nelson came back, he would be older. I think that would actually, yeah, now I think about it, that'd be really interesting. Anyway, the lag fest is over. This mod summons like a billion enemies during events for some reason. It lags out the game. I think seeing Nelson again would be cool. There's a lot of side characters I think would be fun to see. Like I said earlier, I think the Dragon Hunters are really the only side characters that I think are kind of necessary. Because, you know, they're the Dragon Hunters, and it's Dragons Rising, you know, we kind of got to get a bit more of that dragon lore explained, and I feel like they would be the best people to go to for that. But who knows? Guessing I already have one of these. Cool. Yeah, going back to the Underworld would be cool too. They went to the Realm of Madness, so I don't think it would be too out there to go to the Underworld as well. A new samurai character? Maybe. I mean, once Pixel's back, I don't know if they would really need to. Maybe it'd be cool. I like how Wildfire's not really a ninja either. Like, she's kind of like a main character, but she's not... She doesn't really want to be a ninja. She just kind of wants to be herself. And I think that's cool. I hope it stays that way. Forgot about the new ninja. Nelson Killside is the Phantom Ninja, like the one from the book. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know anything about the book stuff, like the Phantom Ninja. Uh, yeah, I'm probably gonna end the stream pretty soon here. Start wrapping it up. But I appreciate you guys joining me for this discussion. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to hop on and talk about part 2, because I think there's definitely a lot to talk about with it. It's definitely a lot more to discuss with part 2 than there was with part 1 so far. What's this? I just find part 2 is just kind of fascinating to me right now. And I'm really enjoying it. I like it a lot. There's a lot of weird stuff with it, but I like it. Some of it got canon books, like the Garmadon books that take place out after the merge. Yeah. I hope they do more comics. I want more Ninjago comics. Comic books. Any particular standouts? Like standout episodes or moments? I wonder what I would consider my favorite episode so far of part 2. I don't really know. It's definitely not the first episode, that's for sure. I did like the Jin episode a lot, but it also has a lot of things that are kind of weird. I feel like some of my favorite episodes are probably going to come in part 2. I think the standout episode would probably be... I don't know. I really like episode 15, but mostly for the last few minutes. Episode 12 was good. Episode 13 was really fun. I think 13 and 14 are the standout episodes. Standout characters, Wildfire is definitely much better. Which I know is a hot take, but I like Wildfire more now than I did in part 1. So Wildfire is definitely a standout character. The new Jin is a standout character, but also a really concerning one, depending on how they handle him moving forward with the wish magic. As far as moments go, I really... A lot of the stuff that was spoiled in the trailers, unfortunately. like Cole at the end of episode 15. The administration appearing was really cool. Even... I just really wish that wasn't spoiled in the trailers. Oh, in the Jin episode, the animation when he does his wish and defeats the spirits or the curse is really good. Like really solid. I love how they animated that. That was fantastic. That was incredible. I can't wait to see that in full HD because that was really good. The soundtrack, how they reused like the music, the Jin music, it was really good. That's definitely a standout scene right there. But yeah. Who do you prefer, Chen or Wildfire? That's a really interesting question. I mean, I like Chen a lot. Wildfire is a great character, but I don't like Chen is up there. I'd probably pick Chen, even though that's a really strange pair of characters to choose between. But I like Chen. I like Chen's antics. I mean, I guess they're kind of similar. I really like how Chen kind of like schemes and kind of puppeteers the tournament. Chen's a really fun villain. I like the Zane reveal was good because we didn't expect it. The Zane reveal still bothers me though because they refuse to explain anything about it. They refuse to like they refuse to touch on that, and that bothers me a lot, and I hope that will change. Make Garmadon the cool grandpa to the new group, but a bit of a bad influence. That would be really funny. Yeah, now that I think about Garmadon, like literally interacting with any character besides Lloyd, I do think that would be really fun. I'm just worried that if they bring Garmadon back, they're just gonna have him interact with Lloyd, which I hope not. I want to see Garmadon interact with like Sora and Aaron. I think that would be funny. I think there's a lot of potential there. But anyways, I think I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hopefully I'll do more streams soon. I do have a video planned to come out probably sometime next month. So we'll see. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, I will see you guys when my next video comes out. Goodbye, everybody.